through the fire and come out alive, and there's no more fear in my eyes. Well, now I'm rising, and you can't bring me down. You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. And my feet have come too far for you to tie 'em to the ground. Can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Set my sights on where I'm going at. They turn it back around. Can't stop me.
Well, good evening and welcome to the Psychic Coffee Shop. I'm Aeson Knight, and with me tonight is Marlena and Marcela and her new book, Love, Peace, and Vegetables. Honey, this one's heavy. This has got some heavy, good food in it. It's got some new age cooking for me, because I'm more down in the South where we throw bacon grease on everything. So it's been an interesting read. What started this out for you?
Well, I've been doing this for, it started when I was 15 years old. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
When I knew and I realized that part of my life was going to be as a vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
And I started my quest then there. It was just in line with my life. It was
working with you
then and what I grew up to be now. And this book is a compilation of more than 20 years of work, and it is my gift to the world.
And it's a very good book. It has not only just recipes, like it's not just a standard cookbook. It's got some poetry in it. It's got some artwork, some good photos in it that look tasty. Like we're even thinking of trying some because, I'm pure carnivore. Well, I guess you'd now call me an herbivore because I do eat some good vegetables. Something that I found interesting was you discussing the consciousness in the food in the book. You want to share that with our audience and tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, everything has consciousness, everything. But food specifically, we are always becoming not only what we're saying and what we're thinking, but also we are becoming what we're eating.
Mm-hmm.
And as part of that journey in my life, as part of my spiritual journey as a spiritual nutrition counselor, the big important teaching that I do, it's about nutrition, spiritual nutrition, and the understanding of what we eat really makes us a better, higher conductor of the divine.
Mm-hmm.
So by understanding your nutrition, not just, okay, you don't need to become a nutritionist, you don't need to become a doctor, but you need to understand what the food you're eating does to your whole beingness. And the more you want to receive your soul into your body, the more you have to change your physical life to be a bigger receptor.
Mm-hmm.
And food is a great part of that, but not for everybody, because we need to open up the doors for everybody that, we are all different. We're all unique.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But what you eat does really make a difference.
And it does. It makes a difference on your energy level. It makes a difference on your body chemistry. It's like a few years ago, I had someone finally tell me, and it really hit me, that a lot of problems with our diet is we're not eating what we grew up with, not only what we grew up with, but what our ancestors grew up with. Like the amount of sugar and stuff today is ridiculous.
Yes. It truly is. It truly is. And I think it's just what we have evolved now to our diet is just an evolution of not thinking, of not understanding, of getting lost. We do have everything in nature, and we need to come back to that, come back into, just eating organic, it makes a huge difference, not only in your health, but makes a huge difference in the world. And what you eat, it is not separate in the state that the world is today.
Mm-hmm.
And we all wish and want, oh, I want a better world, and what a world with peace, with more peace. That's why I call my book Love, Peace, and Vegetables, because we all do want love, we all want peace. But in the nutrition world, in the consuming world, vegetables is a big part of it. When you start going into what are the vegetables doing for the whole world, in terms of organic farming and farmers and people, what are you contributing with what you eat in this world?
Right. Well, what I found interesting is when the panini hit, every garden store was out of seeds, out of plants. You could not order anything. Like, they went through their stock in no time. And I'm like, But a year ago, I was the crazy man for building the raised bed garden in my backyard because nobody's got time for that. No one's got going, and I'm like, is it they don't have time, or do they not want to take the time to really invest in that food, to invest? And it's like fast cooking. A lot of your recipes take some time. Plan for at least like an hour to cook dinner. Oh my God. That's great family time that we don't get a lot of times. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, a dear friend of mine one day looked at me and said, Marcela, consciousness is not for the faint of heart. To live a conscious life, it does take some work.
Mm-hmm.
But also another good friend of mine that I adore, he says, Marce, you pay now or you pay later.
Mm-hmm.
You pay later with your health.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we have grown a part of our land. We have grown, everybody has switched on, not everybody, not everyone, because a lot of people are switched on and growing their own food and doing a lot of amazing stuff. But when we go into media and we go into people, you can see that the focus is on working, getting the money, getting the things,
Mm-hmm.
really, we don't need that much.
Right.
How much do we need?
Mm-hmm.
And good relationships, number one. I think good relationships is, good fresh air, water, which I speak about in my book. I speak about water. Water is your first nutrition. It's like water. Have your water besides you.
Mm-hmm.
And how we treat that water that we're going to drink, it's very important.
And it's very important the type of water we're drinking, because a lot of, I'm going to say Americans, because, honey, I detect an accent, so you're coming in from somewhere else other than America. A lot of Americans don't understand the water they get in their tap is dead.
Yes, the water we get around the world is dead.
Yeah.
When you open up a faucet.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you've ever drank from a spring, you know that water, as soon as you put it in your mouth, has gone through every cell of your being before even you swallow it.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it's called light water or living water.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I've been most of my life in this country, but I grew up until I was 18 years old in Argentina.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
My accent is from there.
Okay.
Yes. But I'm so fortunate to be here and to be, I always say, a citizen of the world, because, I can attest that the water problem is not only here.
Right. Well, and it's just some of the, like, they keep adding fluorine to water, and I'm like, why? Why is there fluorine in water? It doesn't help teeth build. It's already been proven that in West Virginia, honey. If so, every West Virginian would have perfect teeth, and we don't. When we look at a meal, how is your view of a normal meal different than someone else, than like the average American view?
It's a very nice question. I mean, for me, my training and what I have been doing,
Mm-hmm.
everything boils down to colors, and to
Mhm.
energy. And for me, the right meal would be a plate, and when you look at it, full of rainbow, with variety, um, with different vegetables, with the protein that I need, and with the amount of fat that I need to feel vibrant, and not to need any more food every hour, every minute, and but that's for me. Some other people, they need to eat every 2 hours. Some other people, they need to eat 3 times a day. Some others, they like to do one meal a day, and that's it.
Mhm.
So that's the door of how Marcela sees. Like, for example, today, my morning, I woke up, and after I did what I needed to do in the morning and my exercise, I had this amazing oolong tea that I like to have in the morning, which is a double fermented green tea, which is high in quercetin, high in shishimic acid, which um, they're all excellent antioxidants, and they're excellent for your immune system. And then I had some kale chips, and I'm eating my kale chips in the morning, and
Mhm.
I how do you tell everybody you eat kale chips in the morning? But then if you look at the recipes, then you will see, and you eat something different, you will realize how delicious
Mhm.
are kale chips. And I really eat very, very, very differently. Um, I am a foodie. I've always been a foodie. I've been the women in my families. They were all phenomenal cooks.
Mhm.
Sadly, um, sadly, the men in the family, uh, most of the men died very early in my family
Mhm.
from diabetes, heart attacks. My first experience with death is when I was about 4. And my
Mhm.
uncle, who was hugely loved, he died with his head on the dining table out of a heart attack.
Mm.
And since this is a psychic coffee shop,
Mhm.
at that age, I had a very thin veil, and I was able to see that he wasn't quite gone from the household.
Mhm.
And I've always thought, I said, what's happening here? Why are we having the men in our family being so sick, even at that age?
Mhm.
And through my life, through seeing my father with diabetes and many, many, many other things, um, I realized, okay, there is a little bit of a problem here. And I really did refuse to study nutrition for most of my life until I was a mother, and I
Mhm.
realized that my son was having problems. And I said, okay, what's going on? The older men and now the children,
Mhm.
what's going on here? And that really took me to my next level to
Mhm.
help my son and see how I can help him. So I had no choice but to study. And I studied so much that in 3 months I had read like a pile of all the books. Back in the days, I didn't use the computer, and I went to one of the biggest bookstores at the time that everybody would go and have a coffee, pick up the books, then buy the ones you liked. And from one book took me to another and to another to another until I figured out that it was the diet. That
Mhm.
my son, for the last year, because he asked me, he wanted to eat with the children, with the other friends in the school. And I said, yes, sure. And they were eating pizza, they were eating chicken nuggets, and they were eating, I don't know what else, whatever they feed
We'll
in
call it what I call it, garbage.
garbage. Garbage. But I had no idea it was garbage. I was a vegetarian,
Mhm.
and I wasn't going to tell my children, you cannot eat animals, you cannot eat this. And I never did that, even as a vegan. I said, you choose. It's your choice. You
Right.
know, I believe that life is an invitation.
Mhm.
And if you want to go to that party, you have the right to go to that party.
Mhm.
Go have fun or not.
Right. Or
Change party? change parties,
Right.
life is an invitation, and that's how I see everything. And and I looked and I looked and I realized that this was a huge problem. And I said to my son, he was about 6 when I realized, and I said, listen, I think we need to change your diet. Can you give me 1 week without eating with your friends and see what happens? Because he used to come every day from school. Oh, I don't want it. And he's a Scorpion. Okay. The teacher said this, my friend said that everything was like this huge. And I'm not used to that. I was like, I'm a
Yeah, they're
Cancerian.
all that way. Everything is always big and overpowering. So here's the thing. Okay, with someone getting into a new diet, maybe a new lifestyle like this, what's some tips for them? How did you get him to go, yeah, this is actually a better pizza with cauliflower and real tomato sauce and real mozzarella cheese and, your choice of toppings there comparative to the thing that's Tostino's that was made by Ammart and shipped in.
Yes. Well, good tips, start with good water, and it all depends. For example, it all depends where you are in life. If
Mm-hmm.
right now you're eating fast food, okay, so then do a fast of fast food. Stop the fast food. That's an upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you're drinking sodas, yeah, stop the sodas. That's all you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 week you stop one thing, the other week you stop the other. Add good water to your diet.
Mm-hmm.
Stop table salt and add good salt that is not processed. It's not sodium chloride, it's not sodium. It's just a salt that has all the minerals that possibly has been mined, maybe is from the United States.
Mm-hmm.
It's full of minerals and it's not processed. That's that's an upgrade. So how
Right.
do we start? That's a start.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to be nosy here. What do you spend on an average month for your household on food?
I buy my organic food 9 months of my CSA. It's about $1,000 of vegetables.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So
Uh-huh.
those are my vegetables, fresh grown a few hours away from here.
Mm-hmm.
Sprouts.
Mm-hmm.
And then I spend, um, about $200 or more a week, depending on how many people I have in the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's within average, because that's one of the big claims that people say when they start looking at wanting to switch their diets. It's so expensive.
Right, but it's more expensive to be sick.
Yeah, it's more expensive to be sick. It takes more time to actually prepare a good meal. But there's shortcuts. There's meal prep.
Well, you see, I counsel people from all walks of life. And
Mm-hmm.
I had a single mom with 2 beautiful children, and a teacher, an exercise teacher. And she had a very variable income. So we bought wholesale a bag of quinoa. Then
Mm-hmm.
we got in Costco's organic spinach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we changed some things that she could change that did not make a difference in the budget. So that's not difficult to do,
Mm-mm.
really. And she says, look, Marcela, I lower these, I lower the medications, the children are happier. And I'm like, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, it's a lifestyle that it can be for everybody.
Right. It is. And, something I've started doing is I shop at the local grocery stores. I love manager specials on vegetables. Recently, we just started buying them. Do not open them because they've got nitrous preservative in them. Open up your deep freeze, throw it in, slam it shut. It'll freeze, it'll keep perfectly. You know, your spinach, your power greens, your kales. The only thing we haven't found a way to freeze and keep it perfectly is the zucchini. It still gets a little soggy. Just throw it in there. You're getting it for 99 cents for like 2 pounds, 4 pounds, whatever. And if you guys follow my Instagram, you'll see pictures of some of the food I've been cooking. It's been really interesting here lately. Um, so, what's your favorite snack? What's your go-to snack?
I change all the time, but lately I make these crackers, which they are in the book,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm just loving them. That I changed the recipe a little bit, which is nori sheets.
Mm-hmm.
I make a sauce with cashews and fermented um, ginger and turmeric,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very delicious and it's spicy, and I love spicy. And then that's been these crackers. These are my favorite snacks.
Mm-hmm. And they're quick, they're easy, and it's movable. Now, what about this? Is something that I get on about, and people look at me like, uh-huh. What we store our food in.
This is very important. This is top. I mean, whatever food you have, if you're storing it in plastic,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing a disfavor to your health, because plastic not only is a disfavor to yourself. I always say, whatever disfavor you're doing to yourself, you're doing to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So peace starts with you. Love starts with self-love.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with the plastic is that even if it's hot, if it's not hot or if it's cold, it's always off gassing estrogenic substances
Mm-hmm.
and modifying your hormonal inner works. And
Right.
the hormones are very important.
Very. And they're finding out there a lot more. I would say it's probably a year and a half ago now. Me and my partner got into it hard over the dishes. I thought he wasn't doing them right. He thought I wasn't doing them right. We thought the other one wasn't doing them right. Because every time I went to grab a storage container, a meal prep container, it felt like it was as greasy as it had not been washed. Like it was just filthy, nasty.
And that was basically, the plastic was old.
Yeah, 2 years. 2 years old. I mean, because we had just, we meal prep a lot. And, it's like, oh, it's Christmas. No, just take them home. We don't want them back. We've got more. And it's like, now we go back 30 to, well, now 50 years. In the South, there's a joke about if you open up the refrigerator, there's going to be 11 tubs of butter in there. One of them will be a butter, the rest is the leftovers. Um, I can remember my grandmother having plastic that was 10, 15 years old, and it was still good. I didn't have that greasy feeling to it. Have they changed it to make it cheaper for them to produce this crap?
I mean, plastic is plastic is plastic. And I
Mm-hmm.
always say, just use glass. Save yourself, save health, save the world from plastic, save our oceans, save our land, and save your inner terrain
Mm-hmm.
from toxins. And plastic is plastic. It is very good for certain things, specific, uh, maybe for IV and for medical stuff. And it's also a blessing to the world. But the excess that we have between the bags and between our food containers, which are really, really getting us sick.
Yeah, they are because they're not the same quality. They're not the same anything, in my opinion, in my viewpoint. I'll say they're crap. Like, give me a butter bowl from the 70s when they were using full chemicals. I think we would have done better with than you go and buy a Rubbermaid today, and in a week it's just crap, and it's like toss it.
Yes, the softer the plastic is, um, the more toxic it is.
Hmm.
like your plastic wraps. The
Mhm.
more pliable it is, the more toxic it is
Mhm.
for you, for your body, and for the world.
Right. So, do you have any recommendations for starting? Other than read the book, keep the book in your kitchen. If you have to like break ice, you might also get a co-use out of this because it's a heavy book. Like
It is.
I normally read cover to cover every book. This one I could not get through because you made me hungry. And I'm trying to lose some weight. So guys, get it. It's a good recipe book. It's a good information book. Um, what's your number one recommendation for someone just wanting to upgrade their life other than water? One change they can make, a 5-second change.
I, for me, is um, add more vegetables,
Mm-hmm.
add more vegetables, add more fruits, even fruits to your diet. And
Right.
you know what? For me, really, one of the number one things is buy local.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, every day you can eat something that is in season
Mm-hmm.
and organic.
Right.
Our body they doesn't need any more pesticides, fungicides, and herbicides to process.
Right.
We just don't need that.
Right. Now you said something about in season. Can you explain to people that? Maybe because, we've gotten out of that thinking in this country because we can have everything all the time. And it's like, no, you can't. Avocado is $6 an avocado now.
Well, in season is very important. We are part of nature.
Mm-hmm.
We are part of the seasons. For example, one piece of information for you to be able to relate what does it mean in season is, like, for example, when you travel to another country or when you travel to another time zone, all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden you feel zoned out, right? Like,
Right.
I'm tired, or let me have some coffee, I need to be up, and it takes you a few days to come back
Mm-hmm.
into this circadian rhythm. In this circadian rhythm, also, we have the seasons. You see? So, for example, in the summer, eat the summer, because all of these makes your internal clock, your natural clock, become more refined.
Mm-hmm.
And also different seasons need different things for the body. But for example, I live in the tropical season, so here it's tropical most of the year. So
Mm-hmm.
there's no demarcations. So
Right.
it depends where you are in the world is what you're going to eat and how your clock is
Right.
going to work also. But all of these, being eating in seasons, also it changes how you feel about your connection with the natural world.
Mm-hmm.
If you're always in a synthetic or man-made environment, which is a home, and you're never out and you don't put your feet on the earth, you're going to feel disconnected. Therefore, your life is not going to be as full as if you are, when you are in nature, you are underneath, walking through the river or going into a waterfall or walking in the mountains. All of a sudden, you're like, ah, I feel so much better. And a
Mm-hmm.
smile comes, or something comes without effort. We are meant to all the time feel like everything comes to us without effort.
Mm-hmm. So you've got the book out. What else are you doing? What else is available?
Um, well, what else is available? I teach privately,
Mm-hmm.
which now, because of the book, I'm touring and I'm teaching less privately. So for now, the book is available. I and And for now, this is what's available: the book and my private classes, and whatever inspiration that I can give you through social media,
Uh-huh.
because that's, just to give you inspiration. For me, I believe that beauty and inspiration are two driving forces for anybody to wanting to become better.
Right. So I'm looking at some of the stuff on your site here, and I'm kind of interested in a couple of them. Spiritual fasting. What's that?
Spiritual fasting, it is a 7-day fasting
Mm-hmm.
that I do with green juices
Mm-hmm.
for students who have already been with me, and that's a sacred offering. And I have people from all over the world coming to Miami, and they stay in a hotel near me, and they do 7 days of fasting, 3 days coming out of it. And then later on, I teach them also how to eat in a way that is aligned with their spirits and with their lives.
Mm-hmm. And then the other one is the liver cleanse.
Yeah.
Is there a difference to that?
Yes, yes. The liver cleanse is another of my offerings, which uh, I offer to my students who have already, I who have already been taking classes with me and how to
Mm-hmm.
eat and all of this. So a liver cleanse is a process of 20, 21 days, sometimes 22, in which you take herbs, different herbs,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a special diet for that month. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and also you go through different processes of dreaming and understanding your dreams,
Mm-hmm.
purging your liver and your gallbladder.
Right.
Okay, and then at the end of this, you will take some oil, and basically after your body is very well prepared, you let go of the stones that are in the gallbladder, through the liver, through your tox, through elimination process. And
Mm-hmm.
it's such a beautiful process because all of a sudden you start realizing the relationship between our organs and our mind and our lives and our emotions. And I've seen such beautiful transformations to the realization that, wow, my liver was dirty. No wonder I was. Now I realize that my nervousness and my moodiness and it's coming from a body that is not working well.
Mm-hmm.
Like these are advanced practices.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah, because you start off with, the first offering I hear is spiritual nutrition counseling.
yeah,
Um, dealing with blood sugar, digestive, drug addiction, depression, hormonal imbalances, diabetes, and chronic illnesses. Um, and that can get dicey there. I mean, what's that process normally like for a student? I mean, is it I fly to Miami for 2 weeks and I come home all cleaned out and, as long as I stick to eating this, we'll be good? Or is it real work for them working on the emotional side of it too?
yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of work. This is really anybody that's gonna want to come to me, and it's work because to change anything, to learn anything new, you have to be committed and you
Right.
have to want to do it. You have to like really feeling in your heart to like activating the spirit, activating your food, activating your household, activating the peace. Stop looking at everything with lack,
Hmm.
instead of with lack, with fullness. And this is like a whole life transformation.
Hmm.
And looking at nutrition as that mere food, it's not enough.
Right. It isn't, because you'll guarantee you people lose diets, stop diets, end diets all the time.
Yes.
And that's not what you're teaching. Is this isn't the perfect diet for 6 months and you'll be a size 2 and off your medicine. This isn't a quick, oh, let's do a liver cleanse for 21 days. You drink this lovely bottle of juice every day, and that you pick up at Walmart. And a lot of people don't get that there are proper ways of eating, ways of slowly changing your diet so that your body doesn't react. Like, So you don't have the sugar withdrawal that we see so many diabetics have when they start eliminating sugar, and they become the nasty little bitch they can be. You know, and I'm sorry, sugar is one of those chemicals that has been put into everything.
Yes. Yes.
And things that affect sugar. Like there is no reason for a Domino's pizza crust to have barley in it.
Yes. Yes. That's right. And there is so much more than sugar, because then you have now uh, all of the wheat that
Mhm.
is being so processed and so hybridized that the amount of this wheat, the amount of gluten is 3 times the amount of what the original wheat has. And wheat, as same as corn, which is corn is genetically modified, most of it. Um, these are sacred foods, food that connects you with a much higher reality, but not in the way they're presented today as these breads that are full of bromide and are just completely, there is nothing there. But why there is nothing there? We need to understand that everything that has been transformed,
Mm-hmm.
like white flour,
Mm-hmm.
white flour, it's pure, um, it's pure carbs, because why? They've taken away the germ, they've
Mm-hmm.
taken away um, all of the, my English today is failing me.
That's okay, honey. You say it in whatever language. Our listeners will get it because we have international listeners.
Wonderful. So all of the fiber. So when you're going to eat these, which is, they completely took all the best part of it. Eating that is like eating sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be eating something very salty, okay? Um, but in reality, you're eating something that is converting really fast in sugar. As it's converting really fast in sugar, your brain, which only feeds from sugar, you see, everything at the end of the day becomes sugar for your brain,
Mm-hmm.
even your proteins,
Mm-hmm.
So how the bioavailability of what you have and how your body transforms it, it could be different from you to your
Mm-hmm.
partner, to your mother, you see. And
Mm-hmm.
how do we know that? That's what I teach in private, that
Mm-hmm.
you know you need to look is if you are a fast oxidizer or a slow oxidizer, and then you're going to understand how your cells of your body burn energy and how much protein you should take,
Mm-hmm.
or what type of carbs are better for you,
Mm-hmm.
depending on your constitution and
Right.
depending on your life. For example, if you use your brain a lot, okay, so you're going to need a lot of minerals, you're going to need a lot of water. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if you use your body a lot also, but each person is different. But once you learn this way, it's for the rest of your life. And then you enter not only into wisdom, into knowledge, which is important,
Mm-hmm.
but also you enter into understanding and being and being eh, forgiveness, having forgiveness towards yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because we are not all the time the same.
Right.
We have better days than others. In
Mm-hmm.
nutrition also,
Right.
and that's also related to our
Mm.
emotions.
Right. And it's also related to a lot of other things, i.e., how you're actually dealing with your body, how your body's actually processing stuff, um, some of the conditions that your body is in. Now, notice one thing that I haven't seen anywhere on your site, and I'm kind of relieved with it. And here's what. Let's fix your leaky gut. Your leaky gut's the whole problem. We just, give you some amino acids and some herbs, and it's not there. I'm looking at your site. I don't see one thing about this, and that's a huge thing within the natural food world is this leaky gut thing, and it's like, Well, that's cute, but that's not going to fix everything else.
Because when you're drinking the right food,
Mm-hmm.
eating the right food, for your type, okay, for your constitution, for your lifestyle, okay,
Mm-hmm.
when you learn how to do that, everything else falls behind and gets better,
Right.
so that's basically, yes, of course there is a problem with leaky gut today. There is a problem with people having fungus, parasites. I mean, you name it,
Mm-hmm.
it's out there. And yes, I look at all of that.
Right.
But first things first,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we have to look at our lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Are you taking water? What salt are you having? What
Right.
food are you eating? What containers are you using?
Mm-hmm.
What are you watching on the TV? What's the music you're hearing?
Mm-hmm.
And what are your relations around you? How are your relationships around you? You
Right.
see? So we have to take care of this. We're not just a gut.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not just a gut. We're not just 20, what is it? 20 feet or whatever of intestines. There's much more to us and much more of our spiritual self. So, guys, if you will, go ahead and give out, your website and spell it out for us, so that listeners that are listening on the podcast can actually type it in. Go check out our website. Get her book. It's a good book. It's got some great recipes on it. You might see some of these recipes pop up on my Instagram over the next couple of weeks. We'll see.
So my website is www.marcela, marcela.love, LOVE.
Yes. And it's easy to connect with you. I'm sure that you're going to be doing some classes soon, either virtually or in Miami and that type of thing. So, guys, keep up with her. I have a feeling that you'll be back at the table, because I know that hopefully you'll have some more books coming out and some more information. Please come back. We'd love to have you here.
Thank you so much, Aeson. And yes, we have something coming up, actually. The 20th is going to be my book, the Equinox Book Party release.
Awesome.
In Miami. So if you're in Miami, you're definitely invited.
Okay. Forward to that. Have a good release. Have a great fun. And enjoy your equinox, darling.
Thank you so much, Aeson. A pleasure to meet you, and a pleasure having a good talk with you.
It's a pleasure with you too, darling. Have a great day. Bye, darling. All right, guys. So we're going to take a sip, and then I do have another guest for you. Walter will be on, and his new book is out. Sorry, guys. I've been reading a few of them. Okay. If you saw Aeson's desk right now, you'd think he is not organized at all. He isn't. They came beyond deja vu. Again, we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back to talk with Walter. All right, we're going to do this one.
You can't tell me the deck is stacked. You can't whisper behind my back. You can't show me how the odds are up against me all day long. But I've been through the fire and come out alive, and there's no more fear in my eyes. Oh, now I'm rising, and you can't bring me down. You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. My feet have come too far for you to tie 'em to the ground. Can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Set my sights on where I'm going at. They turn it back around. Can't stop me.
All right, now we'll see if Walter's can get his camera turned on. Walter, are you ready?
I'm ready. My camera's on.
Okay, because all I'm seeing is your decal.
What do I need to do?
You should have something around there that says allow access.
Allow access.
Yeah. If not, if you'll go down to the corner, you'll see something that will allow. It should see like camera settings, edit settings.
I see settings.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Right. So it's coming up.
okay.
There we go. I'm sure that it'll move in. There you are.
Okay.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Are we on?
We're on. We're live, baby.
Well, that's embarrassing.
Oh, please.
Okay.
I have bounced people out to get them to come back so that their camera will work. We
I
gotta
thought-
enjoy using StreamYard sometimes. They get a little picky.
I thought for sure that I had selected the right camera. I apologize.
No, I liked your little decal on the back. I'm like, okay, that's cool. He knows he's on the second part of the show. He's got a reading going on. He's got something going on because you're a busy man. He'll be with us in a moment.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. I looked at some of your past podcasts, and I love how you are genuinely interested in people. And I love how when you're frequently talking about real serious stuff, you'll bring in lightheartedness and laughter. I love that. One of my favorite quotes is from an American poet from the 1800s named Elbert Hubbard. He says, "Don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out of it alive."
No, you won't.
And to me, that's have fun, have fun, have fun, have fun now, right?
Right. And see, that comes from my grandmother because she taught me most of my reading style. And she used to say, I don't care if you got to tell them to get a divorce or bury their husband, one of the two. They better come laughing away from that table.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, you're a psychic and you've got a new book out. And it's based on a true story. They Came Beyond Deja Vu. What's it about?
It is written as a novel,
Mhm.
but it is actually my life story. I wrote it as a novel in order to protect people, the innocent and the guilty in some cases. And it's a novel. My life starts the novel starts when I am 6 years old in war-torn Germany. I was born in Germany, German citizen. And by war-torn, I mean that this was 11 years after World War II had ended, and half of my city was still ruins, bombed out shells of buildings and just debris. And a very poor country at the time. And I was told I was going on an exciting train ride, and I was super excited because I had a older half brother and half sister at the time, and who got to do things I didn't get to do. I was excited, but after a 2-hour train ride and a long walk through the countryside, I ended up at a place called orphanage, which was a word I had never heard before. And I was told that I would never be going home again, and that my mother was too sick to have me at home. And it turned out she died 6 days later, and I had not known that for the past year she had had cancer, and everybody in the family knew that she was dying, but I didn't. Apparently I was too young. So abandonment, right? Just, oh my God. And
totally right there.
yeah. So then what the book is about is, of course, going through hardship and abandonment, which I have seen in my work of being a psychic for 20 years. It's very common. Very common. Gosh, at this point in my life, I've never met anybody who hasn't gone through emotional hardship and tremendous pain, at least at some point, if not a long time. So part of my goal in writing the book was to let people know that ESP and psychic experiences and deja vu is far more common than most people realize, and that actually I think all of us have it. We're all as aware of it as we choose to be, and many people choose to block it out. And for me, and it's your work that gives insight and guidance to ourselves if we're aware of our the psychic world. And I wrote the book with the purpose of helping people overcome abandonment, like I said, and so many people who haven't been abandoned physically have been abandoned emotionally by one parent or another, or both of them, where they just don't really have any connection. I also wrote it with the purpose of helping people overcome physical and sexual abuse, which also is rampant in our world. It is, yeah. And
I have a theory. Psychics go through the deepest shit so that we know the path. It's like, turn left corner, honey. Don't pay attention to the news page, son. It's just bullshit. Keep moving forward. Do you agree with that theory that, real psychics go through deep shit so that they can help their clients?
Absolutely. I couldn't do the work that I do now if I hadn't been through this hardship, because of course, you too. We have clients all the time who have gone through and are going through horrific stuff. And yeah, it helps me. And another one of my messages in the book is loving yourself. That's incredibly important. And it's the foundation for everything. You can't even allow yourself to be loved unless you love yourself. And it's the foundation for deserving anything. You can't really feel you deserve stuff unless you love yourself. And then it's the foundation for happiness. But the book is about me overcoming those things. And then eventually it is about the fact that in the orphanage, and actually before the orphanage, I had 2 imaginary friends. And I know you had imaginary friends in your childhood too. I read about it.
I do. I have a very long, he hates it when I call him the imaginary friend, but yes, I have a very long-term relationship with my imaginary friend.
Yeah. And I read on your website that at least some of yours, if not all, became guides for you.
They are.
Later
Most of them are guides. I work with one main one, baby.
Yeah.
And on the site, I tend to be very much connected with him, but I'm a different style person when it comes to psychic readings. Like, he'll tell me stuff all the time, and it's like, yeah, and it sounds like it's coming out of my mouth, and then sometimes I'm just like, you take it from here. Whereas, and I guess that's more so my style of reading, because I know a lot of people say, we'll do a reading and they'll go like, well, David says. Mine like to be like, don't be telling him I'm telling you shit. It comes from you. It comes from you. Yeah. What about yours?
So mine were 2 girls who were in their teenage years, and I interacted with them pretty much 24/7. And in both cases, over and over and over, I saw in each case one particular super traumatic experience that they went through, and I saw it in detail over and over and over, and I interacted with them. Flying, this, you can relate to it, flying to the clouds, going to other dimensions where you just feel and see and know you're in a different place, and
right.
You're interacting, which then really is the spirit world. And what was amazing, and it's the essence of the book, is that both of these girls became real people in my life when I was 44 years old.
Okay.
They became physical women in my life, and in both cases, they started telling me the story of a traumatic event in their lives, and I was able to not only finish the story, but tell them each several things, up to 5 things in one case, that they had never told another soul.
Really?
Yeah.
Your guides actually said, okay, I'm not going to be a guide anymore. I'll see you later, and became a real human, or are we looking at a split biology?
I don't believe that they were guides because they had no awareness of me.
Okay.
Right? They were companions.
Okay.
And this event, it was phenomenal. When most of the people in the audience know that we have we meet people sometimes, and for during the very first encounter, we just know them. Didn't I grow up with you, right? If you believe in it, haven't I lived lifetimes in the past with you?
Right.
And in this case, I recognized them because I had seen them over and over and over,
Right.
and they recognized me on that spiritual level where, oh my God, I felt familiar, and as if I had been with them all their lives, but they had no specific memory, and they were not guide type people. They were just ordinary, living your life people. They were not people who were psychically aware, particularly.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and I got close to them, amazingly close, because this was, for both of them and for me, it was like, what is this? What is it? Is it possible?
This can't be real. You're supposed to be my imaginary friend. What is this? You're supposed to be something, or, for me, it's a location. There is one location that I get invited up to do readings. And as soon as I step on the grounds, it's like, I see a housekeeper, I see the full place together. And it's like, the first time I walked in there, I was like, what the hell? I have never been in this place. And it's like, I know where the rooms are. Oh, you're set up in the museum. Okay, fine. Boom, 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 boom. There I go. And they're like, that's the servant's way of entering. And it's like, yeah, and it's quicker than going around your crap. But they were having a problem with the air conditioning. I'm like, why do y'all got air conditioning here? Go open the basement up. It's a cool spring. Open the, and showed them. And they were just like, I'm like, there is no way I've studied enough Victorian history to understand their air systems.
Sure.
Like, what is this?
Yeah.
So I can definitely understand. I think I would have passed out if a client of a case or a vision walked in and was like, so let's talk. What do you know about me?
Well, and it wasn't like that. These were people. One was a receptionist at a company that I had been calling for about 3 years and asking for various people at that company. And the only words we had ever exchanged or I ever heard from her was, one moment, please, I'll connect you. It was a really beautiful voice. And just in that one moment, please, I'll connect you. Always my heart went a little bit like that. But for 3 years, right? And then it wasn't appropriate to talk to the receptionist. Right. And there was one guy at the company. I'm going to call him David. And he would answer the phone by saying, "This is David," as if he was announcing himself on a TV show as the guest. And he did it real loud. And I was having a really frustrating day. And when she answered the phone, I just said, "Could I please speak to this is David?" And I didn't hear anything. Silence, right? And I thought, oh God, did I mess up? Because this was a client of our company. And then I heard this, and it was silent again. And I realized she was trying her best not to laugh, right? And then when she finally could speak, she was just trying my best not to laugh my ass off, because that guy, he annoys everybody. He's one of the vice presidents, and he does that loud as hell. Always, here's David. And so then, when you laugh with somebody, you connect. And in that moment, I recognized her. Right. But the point was, she wasn't spiritual. It was just somebody who had affected me very positively for a lot of years. And we started talking personally. And within a couple of weeks, she started to tell me about this massive accident that she had where she was severely disfigured in her face. And she started the story, and I finished the story. And then over the next week or so, I told her another 5 things that she had never told anybody else, including a near-death experience that she had, and what happened during the surgery and what happened after the surgery. And so I'm still answering the question of, no, these weren't guides. These were just regular girls, right? And yet they were companions. And it brought me to an awareness of my psychic ability. I had an awareness that, okay, I saw psychic stuff, but I never thought of myself as a psychic. Right. And then what happened actually within about 4 or 5 weeks with both girls, they were in their 20s when I met them. And when they had been my imaginary friends, they were not born yet. And so they hadn't had that traumatic experience yet.
Right.
And but relatively quickly, they got to a place where my knowledge of them, my intimate knowledge of them, knowledge of stuff they had never shared with another human, they started to feel invasive and like it was creepy. And who the hell am I? And am I trying to manipulate or coerce them somehow? Right. And both of them severed their relationship, just flat out gone. It's devastated me because this was my connection to my past and to understanding myself. And I had loved them all of my life. I had loved them. And when they ended the relationships with me, it was almost as devastating as that first day at the orphanage. And my feeling was, and I know a lot of people in the audience have this perspective. I'm sure you deal with this with your clientele, and that is feeling like the universe is messing with me. God's messing with me, right? Especially because that was the mindset that was sort of imposed upon me that first day at the orphanage, you know, where I lost all my power. And what was beautiful about it, and this too is part of my message for people, what was beautiful about it is I realized, dude, you need some help. And people had been telling me, really for 20 years, friends had been telling me, dude, you need some help. Because I would share stories of what I had been through, and they knew that I needed help. And so it caused me to seek out a psychologist, which was the best thing I ever did for myself. It's like taking private lessons in how to live life. And I ended up with a psychologist who was the daughter of a Toltec shaman. And many people probably know that the Toltec shaman tradition is the teachings of Don Juan by Carlos Castaneda. Toltec shaman, Don Juan was a Toltec shaman. And then Don Miguel Ruiz, the Four Agreements, he's a Toltec shaman. And it's a tradition in Central and South America that goes back thousands of years, maybe 10,000 years. So the knowledge is phenomenal. And my psychologist had gone to other realities and other worlds with her shaman father over and over in her childhood, and you know, experienced not just the psychic world, but other worlds. And she was the first person to tell me, you're not crazy, which I thought I was. I thought, you know, either the universe is messing with me or I really am nuts, because how is this possible? And the first thing she said to me after hearing my story is, you're not crazy, you're psychic. And you literally tuned into the psychic world to find these two companions in order to have companionship in those years, but then also in the later years to bring me to a point where they were the catalyst for me seeking help, figuring out what happened and figuring out how to take my power over it, which I hadn't done.
So we're going to take a break, and we'll both be right back because I want to dig into this a little more.
You can't tell me the deck is stacked. You can't whisper behind my back. You can't show me how the odds are up against me all day long. But I've been through the fire and come out alive, and there's no more fear in my eyes. Oh, now I'm rising, and you can't bring me down. You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. My feet have come too far for you to tie them to the ground. Can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Set my sights on where I'm going at and turn it back around. Can't stop me now. You can't stop me. All the blood, sweat, and sacrifice. I paid the dearest price. There no shortcuts here for destiny. I'll take the long way proud. I know what I've earned, and now it's my turn, lighting the fuse that it burned. My time is rising, and you can't bring me down, can't stop me now, can't stop me now. My feet have come too far for you to tie them to the ground. Can't stop me now, can't stop me now. Set my sights on where I'm going, I ain't turning back around. Can't stop me.
All right, and welcome back. Thank you guys. I know this break thing at the top of the hour is a new thing. It's supposed to help us deal with a few different things at the same time. And I'm going to start working it in. One of those is making sure that we can use the streams and multi-streams and check the comments because we're not getting all of them. So back at the orphanage, what was it like? I mean, because you coming from war-torn Germany that I believe at that time was still under control of like 3 different powers.
It was, yeah. I'm impressed that you know that. Most people don't. It was Germany itself was divided into 4 sectors after World War II.
Mm-hmm.
The British, the French, the Americans, and the Soviets.
Right.
And the Soviet sector became East Germany because they decided they didn't want to share.
Mm-hmm.
And then within, let's see, that was 1945. So within 16 years, 61, they built the Berlin Wall. And on the border between East and West Germany, they built a wall there. And it was for the purpose of keeping people in East Germany, couldn't leave. And then, yes, my part of West Germany was in the French sector. The orphanage was in the French sector. And I saw mock battles with anti-tank guns and tanks and machine guns. They were using blanks, right? But just insane. And we were right there. We were like within 100 yards just watching it happen. And it was scary as hell. And tanks constantly, columns of tanks, because the French squadron that was stationed by the orphanage was a tank squadron.
Right.
Yeah. And then the American soldiers, France was also a poor country. They suffered a lot during the war. The Americans were victorious, and compared to the Germans, America was totally prosperous. There was also an American base not too far away, an army base, and they brought toys, and they would pick us up and take us to a Christmas thing where Santa Claus literally handed out a present to every kid. And these were kids from several orphanages. You know, there were hundreds of kids, and everybody got a present.
Right.
But the rest of the time at the orphanage, it was incredibly lonely. The night that I arrived, I got beat up by another kid and was scared shitless. Scared shitless the whole time, and then in complete disbelief. My mama and I were super close.
Right.
And I had sat on her lap the night before, and I had no idea that she was dying, and I didn't actually find out that she had died until 3 weeks later when they allowed my papa to come visit me. He wasn't married to my mama. He was a severe alcoholic wife beater. I used to watch him beat the crap out of my mother almost every night and not be able to help her. So she had a friend who was a social worker, and she set it up so that I would be adopted by Americans. Which happened a year later. But it was an American military couple who was stationed in Germany, and they were abusive. They were abusive. Within 3 weeks, they were spanking me so hard that my ass was bleeding.
Ooh.
Yeah. But that too, you know, like if I hadn't gone through that, then I wouldn't understand what my clients go through. It made me stronger, and it helps, allows me to give insight to people of here's how you can overcome. It's one of the things that I love to do. My website is psychicwalter.com. or walterzajac.com for the book. On psychicwalter.com, you'll see that my handle is the Empowerment Psychic. I'm all about empowering people, and I see in your work you do that too.
Yeah.
I want to give them insight into what's going on in their hearts and what's going on in their boyfriend Dave's heart, and give them the best options in terms of, I believe this is the path that would make you the happiest. That for me, that's empowerment.
So when did you get to work, as I call it? Some people call it a wake.
It's been
I call it get to work.
about 20 years. 2002 is when I started.
What was your catalyst?
Let's see, a few weeks before 9/11 in 2001, my girlfriend at the time bought me my very first psychic reading. I had never had one. It was for an hour. And Darlene, the psychic that I went to, we really hit it off. And she kept saying throughout the reading that, dude, you're psychic. You need to be doing this. And she did a tarot card spread. I think it was a 13-card spread. And you know the tarot because your grandma taught it to you. You said, yeah.
Is
and
her way of shutting me up so that it's not being the human phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the last card she drew was the magician. And, she interpreted that as, you are a psychic. You need to do that for a living. You're going to help a hell of a lot of people, and it's going to bring you a lot of satisfaction.
How were you at 9/11?
How was I?
Yeah.
I'm not like, how did it affect me? Is that what you mean?
Meaning, I noticed, and I've been in the psychic world for a very long time. A lot of the psychics weeks before 9/11 were not sleeping. They were not feeling good. They were having nightmares. They were having what I want to call pre-PTSD occurring. What about you?
Interestingly, I was already going through PTSD, not really PTSD, but hardship, shock in my life because, let's see, what was it? About a year before, I had gotten laid off by a day job, and I was struggling and scrambling, and I got myself a job as a server. I got trained. It was a waterfront fine dining restaurant, and we dressed up and looked real good, and we got trained. Yeah. I had to learn about fish and about wine and about beer. We got trained, but I was, and I was enjoying it because it was a fine dining restaurant. I made relatively good money, and it was nice to not be in a day job. But while I was there, and I was struggling, right? Because every night you were hoping that you got enough tips, and incredibly hard work. I know people in the audience who are servers know that. Oh my God, that's hard work. I used to come home incredibly exhausted and sore feet. You've done it.
Done it. I was raised. I talk a lot about my paternal grandmother, but my maternal grandmother owned a restaurant, and she had the lovely thought, if you can touch a table and wash a dish, well, I got something for you to come do.
Wow. Yeah. You were working at an early age, huh?
Oh yeah. Restaurant work's not for the faint of heart. Aeson's camera is playing. This happens when stuff goes on. It just is what it is. But in general, with restaurant work and that, life events affect the human psyche a lot. And I think it makes a lot of psychics and a lot of mediums, they got to see a lot of trouble before they get through it. And I feel like that's what you've done. I do have a question. Where'd Walter go to? Oh, he'll be back, I'm sure. Possibly lost the internet. All right. What's going on with my camera? There we go. Well, I think I got it better fixed. Guys, this happens with psychic energy. This happens with mediumship energy. It pops up. It's occurring one way or another. I probably did scare him or make his computer go mad. Hello, Walter. You're exactly a medium, honey, because we can't deal with technology.
Yes. Thank you. So, your question was, how did it affect me? Right. And I was already in a place where I was super sensitive and feeling vulnerable because of what I had been going through. And then it just, I'm sure like you, it just killed me, like all of those people. Wow. watching the towers go down and feeling all of that misery, and especially the misery of the relatives and the loved ones and the friends too.
Right. Now, in current events, and we'll date this show. What's your thoughts on Putin and what's going on there? Is that giving you shell shock, or is that bringing
Yeah.
up some crap?
It's giving me shell shock, especially since I was born in Germany and born after World War II, and I saw the consequences. My city and 36 other cities in Germany were anywhere from 85 to 95% leveled by
Right.
American and British bombers. And it was because the Nazis were hiding munitions factories, factories among the civilian population, and it was pretty much the only choice the Americans and British had.
Right.
But I see that happening now in the Ukraine, and it just, wow, man, it hurts. It hurts so much, and it's happening everywhere. It's not just like, okay, it's a European country, but holy shit, so many places on this planet, people are hurting and suffering through war.
What I find interesting, however, is I think that Putin, much like Hitler with Poland, thought he was just going to walk in and they were going to go, yay, he's here, let's throw flowers at him. And I think I saw it earlier where a 95-year-old had beat up one of their soldiers and drug him into the house and gave him an ass whooping and made him call his mother.
Wow.
And then another one, they ran out of gas. So a farmer has a tank for sale on Facebook Marketplace. And I've been hitting up my partner going, see, I can go buy a tank. The shipping will be crazy, but it can arrive. So do you give consultations? What else do you do? What else are you doing other than the book?
Yeah, I do psychic readings every day, full time. I've been doing that for almost 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, my goal in every session is to empower people, to bring people to a place where they're having a good time. My philosophy is that, everybody, and maybe there are some exceptions, but essentially everybody wants to be happy, right? And how do you be happy if the only time that we have power and influence is now?
Yeah.
Right. So most people are, me too, we've done it all my life. We project happiness into, okay, after I accomplish this, after I accomplish that, then I'll be happy. Right. And what I teach people and really emphasize is now. Happiness is now. And the way to be happy now is to have fun. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun with whatever you're doing, even cleaning the toilet. Figure out some way to have fun with it. And then, to me, that's so important because if you're not having fun, there simply is no way to be happy. It really is the only way to be happy.
Right. And it really is the only way, and a lot of people get so trapped in this, and I feel like this is another conversation I've gotten into, is people, The Secret was big news when it came out, Oprah done it all, and I'm like, yeah, that's part of it, but the other part of it is stop influencing the things you don't want in your life. You keep bringing it back in because you keep telling the universe, deliver me more bills instead of looking at happiness and finances.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on
that? That's secondary. That the happiness and the finances come if you're having fun now. If you're loving yourself, they come automatically. But if that's what you're pursuing, then you have less of a chance of success if you don't love yourself.
Right.
Then, another one of the things that allows me to have fun now, to be happy at this particular moment, is the concept that gratitude is the antidote to emotional pain. And gratitude is the antidote to fear, right? So if I'm having a moment where I'm nervous about something, I think about something to be grateful for in that situation, whether it's about that person or about that situation, then I feel better. And the same thing with emotional pain. If somebody has hurt me, I think about something to be grateful for about them and about what my experience with them, and I'm happy.
And sometimes it may just be that, just what, you're going to be a case study in my book. You're going
That
to be,
too.
you know,
That too. And then happiness involves not having too much contact with that person.
yeah, that's when the other part of that is stopping the connections that aren't benefiting you.
Yes.
I find that so hard for people to get that. No, you don't need my permission to tell your boyfriend to hit dirt. You don't need Walter's permission to tell him to get lost. You need your own permission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I've also found, I'm sure you do too, that all of us, including me, we make choices, especially in love relationships, based on what we were experiencing in our childhood.
Mm-hmm.
If, if your parents were remote emotionally, didn't give you a sense of validation, didn't make you feel good about yourself, then it's more than likely that the lover that you choose is going to reflect how your parents treated you rather than how you want to be treated.
Right.
And it's because of my observation, I'm sure you've seen this too, is we all choose what's familiar because we think that what's familiar is most comfortable, even if it doesn't give us the results we want.
Right. And then, and the other part of that is looking at that and going, okay, well, yeah, that kind of looks like the same car I used to drive, but I'm going to make sure that engine's got a better engine in it.
Yeah.
And also giving yourself permission to tell people, no, I don't want that. This is what I want. This is how I want it.
Yeah.
This is what I expect out of you. I'm all for, and I preach this a lot with my clients, relationships are contract negotiational segments, within building the relationship. You're negotiating a contract. If you don't like fried chicken, don't be telling her you like fried chicken. You'll eat it every dang night for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I like that. Good advice. I heard a comedian say, if you don't like Chinese food, don't go to China.
Yeah. You won't find anything else. Now, what's this NLP stuff you got over here?
Neuro Linguistic Programming. Are you familiar with it?
I am a little bit, but my listeners probably aren't. If they get dancing over your site, they're going to see it. So we want to talk about it. It's
been around about 50 years, 50. It was started in the early 70s by a hypnotherapist and a psychiatrist who at the time wanted to put more power and effectiveness into the work of psychologists. And they studied the most effective techniques of the psychotherapists and hypnotherapists of the time, and they modified and have in these 50 years made these techniques more and more effective. And essentially, it's a branch of psychology that has very effective techniques for doing simple things like finding self-love, like finding self-confidence, like quitting smoking, like losing weight. And then especially loving yourself. That's one of the things that in my work I do, no matter what the person's ultimate problem that they want to solve is, I focus on loving yourself. And for me, the best, most effective way of loving yourself is falling in love with the 5-year-old in us. Because the 5-year-old in each of us is precious and sweet and innocent and just wants to be loved. And the 5-year-old in all of us is still in tune with where we came from, which was the spirit world. So there's wisdom there that we lost as adults.
Yep. All right, Walter, I'm going to take this question real fast. It's Lisa. She's 10/6/58. We made the lawyers happy. Have I or will I meet someone that comes into my life to be good for me? Well, first off, I don't think you've met him yet. I think they will come into your life with the Knight of Wands showing up here. I'm going to say that they're also going to be coming with additions. So they may already have had a family. They're coming pre-programmed with something here. But I think you've got to get out of all of that stress you've been dealing with and that fear. And I really think you got about 8 weeks, so about 2 months to get that done before they enter your life. Okay. Walter, you want to take a shot at the question?
At the same question?
The same question.
What is her first name?
Elisa.
Elisa.
Mm-hmm.
The moment I hear the name, I sense a relatively energetic, almost bubbly person, but a tremendous amount of pain inside. And I believe that she's on the path of finding this person, like you said, but she really needs to focus more on believing that she's worth it.
Mm-hmm. I will agree. I will concur on that. I like doing that when I have psychics on sometimes. Let's take this question together to show the different styles of readings. Now, Walter, we recently, just a moment ago, while you were talking, had a little issue, and this is a common issue we in this industry have been dealing with a while, is these damn scamsters. What's your views on them?
So I missed the word. We've been dealing with what?
These damn scammers. Like, message me and I'll give you, I'm drawn to you. Let me give you a reading. I'm friends, send me $1,500 and I'll send you dirt from the Vatican. Where's your stance on that?
Honestly, Aeson, I think it's immoral what they do. They're cheating people and they're taking people at their most vulnerable. You know it. When somebody books a session with us, it's usually it's the most important question in their lives right now. Mm-hmm. And we have their hearts in our hands. And to me, it's immoral to take unfair advantage of that.
Right. And to go prying on stuff and prying on people.
Yeah.
I always tell my clients, do not do it. Guys, I will block them. If he wasn't talking about something important, I would have sent the scam alert graphic up. But we've had enough interruption tonight. So I see that your site's really well built. I really like that you've got examples of your readings. You can actually see his readings. Now you have some YouTubes up on choosing a psychic and getting the best reading, which I find very helpful. And then you got listen to a reading. So you must have done some recorded reading stuff. What's some other things you're dabbling in?
Actually, I am just now learning foreign currency trading.
Oh, that's fun.
I have a friend who has made millions in a couple of years, and he's taken me under his wing and showing me stuff. And, it's the kind of thing where 90% of people who are into it don't make money. But my friend Smiley is clearly making money, and he's got a system, and I'm getting educated, just learning of how to read, how to predict what's going to happen, and then I think I'll be able to use my psychic ability to predict, to get a feel.
Yes, but you can't publicize that one. The FCC will come down and knock on your door.
Yeah. Yes. Good. Good point.
Yeah. And that's something we discussed, I think, on last show or a show before. Some of the things that psychics can't do in some countries, like in Britain, you can't be in the stock market. Do not even touch that silver market. You can't be there. Some casinos, we can't go play cards there. They really don't like it when Aeson comes and plays blackjack.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I'll keep that under my hat then.
But it's interesting, some of the studies that we joke jumping into, and different things that we've walked, and people wonder, why are we here? And I'm like, well, everyone needs Google Maps. So that's why, we're around a big Google Life.
Yeah.
So you do the NLP, you do the aura cleansing. Now, is that in person, or or can you do it at a distance?
At a distance, in person has become almost a thing of the past for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. Sometimes via video, but more often than not, just audio. by phone or Zoom or Skype.
Yeah. What's your preferred method?
Um,
What's your favorite?
In person.
Person?
Yeah,
I don't like in person anymore. I
really.
really enjoy, and I have always, there's an old medium technique that came out of Silverdale, and it was when the psychic turned their back to the person. Like they literally read with their backs to them. And I find that I've gotten really into the, straight old traditional phone. Put me on a phone line, let me talk to the person, because then you're not getting that connective feedback. I like in-person readings. I may start them back. Did you have much pivot to do when the panini hit?
Did I have what? I'm sorry.
Much pivoting to do when the panini hit? Like, did you have to change your business model?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to put myself more in a position where I was offering deals and incentives, which I hadn't had to do before. Yeah.
See, for me, and it was a matter of about 3 weeks. We shut down the office. We went totally online. We got the same booking system you did, thanks to where's her name? This is her client book, Corey Midliff. Luckily, I just had her on.
Yeah.
And we were talking psychic business, and she has a book out called You've Got the Magic Who Needs a Genie. I recommend it for every psychic in the business. And it's got some great A1 tips, but I had started looking at her and looking at her stuff and going, okay, I see how she does that. I see how she does this. Okay, well, we can connect this and do this. And literally that made my shift so much easier to pivot from, in person, in the store every day, talking to people, to Zooming and Zoom classes and phone readings and text readings, because I had experimented with text readings. Now it's like, oh, I got a text message from a client. Let me check. Yep, they paid. Boom, there we go. So it was interesting watching some of the metaphysical people just shift like that, and others it was kind of like boom, and then it all hit. So yeah, offering deals, offering specials is always a good thing. Do you teach any? Are you looking at doing Zoom classes? How's that looking?
I've done it in the past. A tarot card reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's your favorite deck?
I use the traditional, the Rider-Waite deck. Is that what you learned?
I learned Rider-Waite, and then I branched out, and I love the Gilded Tarot's deck, Rider-Waite based deck. I'm really, and it depends on the reading. I really find that it depends on the reading. If it is a very much a psychological mental deck, I'm pulling out Thoth. Like me and like that, because when I sit down on a live reading, I'll set 3 decks down in front of the client and say, choose the deck. Choose which deck you want to read with. And if they pull that, I'm like, oh, baby. Pull out that psychological manual. Let's start seeing self-love, empowerment. Oh, yep, we've got abandonment issues, and here's his mental problem, and here's the life focus. It's very much a psychological reading.
Yeah.
Comparative to like Rider-Waite is like, fire him, hire him, get over here and work on yourself, and why aren't you journaling?
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. And it's like last month I was checking out and review decks. So I got to review the Native Spirit Tarot deck. This deck is cutthroat. Like if you want down and dirty, this is the deck for you.
Cool. I'll check that out. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, darling, how do they get in touch with you for a reading, get a copy of the book, see you on live? Where do they need to go?
So the book and information about the book, which includes 5 scenes, both written and audio, is available on walterzajac.com, and they can find me also on psychicwalter.com. The book is available in paperback and Kindle and audio on amazon.com.
Awesome. Yeah, so you're on Amazon, you're in all the big retailers. If you're a local bookstore, go ask them to bring it in. That's always good. Well, thank you, darling, for coming on. You have a lovely evening.
I appreciate you, Aeson. Thank you so much. It was a great interview. Thank you.
great end of time sitting down having coffee with you too. Bye, darlings. All right, we're going to bring Joe up for a minute.
Surprise!
Joe, gets brought out.
God, it's like the Spanish Inquisition tonight.
Try me. Try me. I will get the rack out. It is in the attic.
I know. Like, I thought you were going to be like, and outro. And I was like, cool. I'll be over here playing with planner sheets. And then it was like, and we're bringing Joe up.
Yeah, well, we had a few minutes. And, I figured I would at least make sure that, everyone who contacts me, where's Joe, sees Joe, here's Joe.
You're still on that proof of life thing. Oh, my God.
Well, I gotta prove that I haven't fed you a salad. Do you know how many messages I've got over that? Some want the recipe, some of them asking if you've been fed yet.
Wait, somewhat recipes? What the hell? Like, come on, guys. Like, that's not, the Peace Love cookbook. Like, can we get Marcela back
all
up?
the parts of it is in the Peace Love cookbook.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she has a section on digitalis. No, that is not a Peace Love, and no, that's not how that works.
I know.
But yeah.
No, I thought we would do our new favorite, the favorite segment of the show if you had one for us, and if not, I can grab one for you.
Well, I think I'm going to send you to grab one because I don't remember if I had one ready or not, and I think I'll take luck of the draw.
Uh-oh. You know how that ends.
I know how that ends. I'm just but I think I'll go for that. I'll go for that. Let's go luck of the draw. It'll be fine.
Always.
Yeah. And sorry, guys. I'm sitting here and I'm 2 boxes away on finishing this stupid planner sheet.
Hey, you want to tell them about what you've been building me?
Oh my God. Well, I'm kind of building it's a paper planner that you can use as well as a digital planner that I could also drop out. And so yeah, I've been sitting here Joe has a play project. This is what this is called. But yeah, I've been sitting here working on this for a few days now.
Well, it's not really a play project. It's really you getting to be creative.
Well, yeah. Well, and that's what I call a play project, is anything I get to I don't need it this week, but yeah. I can use it at some future point. I don't need it. My life's not over if I don't finish it. That kind of thing. So that's where I'm always at. Is sometimes Joe just has to stop. And go create a thing, and if it's garbage, he can just what you talking about? What plan?
Yeah, you also pull that trick at the end of the month, and I'm like, oh honey, I need the Aeson Knight life coaching planner printed. Can you please do that? The paper has arrived.
See, this is the problem though. I go play with stuff, and then you want to build an entire career out of it.
I don't build an entire career. I build an entire product out of it.
Well, no, I mean, turn it into a whole business. It's not like I could own a camera and I own a camera and I go take pictures and it's fun. It's no, mystic photography. You order T-shirts and you're ready to go.
Yes, and they've already been ordered. They were delivered months ago. We're just waiting for you to go on in.
But all right. Let me flip it over here. Sorry, I finally got that last little thing moved. Well, maybe. Did you send it? Or
Not
do you
yet.
still?
I'm choosing
Okay,
the
I'm
random
sorry.
draw. Which
I thought
post?
everyone was. I thought everyone was waiting on me to like get my crap
No,
together.
they're
So
waiting on
cool
me.
to get your crap together.
Right.
Sorry, I'm a horrible human. But hey, Brenda, I think I saw like a bunch of other people come in too.
Yeah. We
So
had
let's
a
go ahead
great
and.
night. Now you had a
Okay.
comment here and it didn't make it to air. You ordered tell go ahead and say the comment. Yeah.
Well, let me first say hello to Tina, and I think I saw Facebook user was the Shannon. Yes, I wanted to
Yeah.
double check that because I went over to break room and I was being
Right.
funny. So yeah, you guys were talking about like going to casinos and stuff. They don't like that. And I'm like, yeah, and playing cards with Aeson is a nightmare too. Like 1 minute it's gin rummy, and next minute it's a psychic reading.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me tell you now, like it turns cartomancy on you real quick. Like, and it does not phase him. Like, he can 78 cards or 52. It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
He's just all of a sudden like you have ruined so many games of rummy.
True. Can you imagine me at
many.
Las Vegas though? Like you were sitting there, playing 21 and the freaking I don't have to charge the damn handler, the dealer for a damn reading.
Well, I'm just figuring at some point you would be like somewhere between hit me or dump his ass. Like I don't think you would know what to say sometimes. Like burn his shit. Oh wait, I'm 21.
Yeah.
21.
Okay, darling. It is in your private chat.
Okay, awesome. So we'll go read that one and bring that up real quick, and then we got to get you out of here.
Yes, we do.
I know, like we're having fun, but he's got to go.
Yeah.
Like he's got to go.
Yeah.
God, I can't point tonight. Oh well, I give up.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for itemizing my household bills and demanding my significant other pay his fair share now that his 3 teenage daughters have moved in? Ooh, I think I read this one forever ago. No, really? 2 hours ago?
2 hours ago, honey. It's hot off the shit.
Damn, I swear to God I've read this before.
Uh-huh.
All right, so or like a very similar one. So I, 33 female, have been with my boyfriend, 46 male, for almost 3 years. He moved in with me about 6 months after we started dating. Things were going quite well. He does not work as he is a disabled veteran and collects a pension. I work a decently paying job and make about $60,000 more per year than he does. He would give me a few $100s here and there towards food, bills, when I would ask, and I paid my mortgage and the rest of the bills. He was paying about $1,200 a month in child support for his 3 girls who lived with their mom, now 15 female, 17 female, and 18 female. I have 2 girls, now 10 female and 13 female, who live with me 60% of the time and live with their dad the rest of the time. About 6 months ago, his girl's mom decided she couldn't take care of them any longer. She had ruined their family home. No running water, septic was destroyed, holes in the floor, 5-gallon buckets used as toilets, etc. It was awful to discover, and at no point when the girls visited did they share this info with me. I don't know how he didn't know what was happening, but he says he didn't. At that time, the courts decided the girls needed to live with their father, who lives with me, obviously. I knew this would be a tough transition for all involved, so for the last 6 months, I've continued to pay for everything, and he's given me $500 a month towards their support, food, bills, etc. Their mother has contributed nothing. Upon discovering that I was getting a bit behind with finances, I itemized my spending and determined that my costs have gone up about $1,700 a month since they came here. Just regular bills, which doesn't include Christmas presents, clothes, salon trips, vacations, going out to eat, etc., that I have also paid for. I showed this to my boyfriend and asked that he started paying me an amount closer to the cost of the spending, at least the $1,200 he was paying in child support before they came here. He became very angry, accusing me of being money hungry and insinuating he was taking advantage of me. And that I was insinuating he was taking advantage of me. Then he told me he would give me $750 a month towards bills. I expressed that if he felt he could support 4 people for less than what I was asking him to contribute on his own, then he should do that. He says I should be okay because it's for our family. I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, and what makes this feel worse is that I discovered my boyfriend's ex-wife also was dating a younger person with a good job, and that guy is now suing her for taking advantage of him. It almost hits too close to home, but I do love my boyfriend and his daughters, and I feel like if he should contribute more to the support of his kids when I am paying the bulk of our expenses. So am I the asshole?
No.
No, not the asshole. I think maybe that is one of those moments where I don't know if either A, like it's a situation where he just doesn't get it, or like he's kind of entitled there. Or B, if it's one of those situations where like he just doesn't think it's that much more.
Right.
Like that she's fudging the numbers and whatever. But I don't know what that's necessarily doing for him financially.
Right. I don't
Like,
think it's doing anything for him financially except him having extra money to blow. She's cutting out the cash. She's, doing all the extras. And, sometimes it's a realization of a look of where my money is going that you have to take a look at. And, people should put in their fair share, whether that is in actual work or actual money. One of the two has to happen. She's making decent money. She has 2 children of her own. So that's $20,000 each per human there. He's getting decent money from his pension, especially if he's able to afford $1,200 a month child support and he can't shift that child support to the person actually paying the light bill. That's a problem for me.
well, here's my question though, and that's where I was at with that. Is on the $1,200 a month child support. That's a little bit of a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
And it makes me wonder where that put him financially before all this.
Right.
Was that a massive, significant portion? Like, I know some states, I think, don't have or have a really high cap for the percentage of total income that they will take. I don't know if there's a max child support situation there, and he's still getting hit for the $1,200.
Right.
I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm just curious if there's other situations there that instead of stating those, he didn't and just blew up over the money situation.
Right. Well, it's a tough issue for a relationship, but and I'm going to read Brenda's comment. She says, as Aeson says, kick him to the curb. And I agree.
Well, but like it's more involved than that.
Yeah, it is.
Like they're too, like this isn't like he just moved in and all this shit started.
No.
This is, well down the road.
Yes, this is way down the rabbit hole. And technically right now it's not our family because he's not giving her any stability in this either. And that's a secondary issue.
No. Well, and I
go for it, honey.
There's a lot there. Well, I'm just saying there's a lot of moving parts there, and whether or not like like he's the asshole. Like I'm never gonna argue he's not. But I'm just trying to figure out which asshole he is. Is he the entitled asshole? Is he the I can't communicate for shit asshole? Is he the, like there's more to the story, but it was an asshole dick move to respond the way he did.
Oh, I think he's a total asshole. Like he's an asshole all the way around.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, thank you guys for watching. Yes, it's been a double feature. Yes, I unfortunately have to cut it a little bit earlier than we normally do, but I wanted to get this segment in. I do want to thank you guys. I hope you enjoy our authors. I hope we've got them all month. So every Tuesday, there's a different offer. I do want to point out to our Patreon members that Under the Table and Dreaming is in your Patreon. And to everyone else, the Inner Circle is back up and running, and it was emailed out. If you haven't joined my mailing list, you might want to go do that. All right, Joe, take it away.
All right. So, of course, we want to thank our lovely baristas, Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, Ashley Guest, Shannon C, Shannon D, the ever wonderful Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, and Dottie the Psychic. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become one of our lovely baristas by joining our Patreon, please visit PCSPnetwork.com.
All right, y'all. Good night.
Good night.
Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo, ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Yeah, it's my time, yo time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. Our time, high time. Gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no flight time. Grind time. Take it to the street time. Turn the roof off. Get loco. Game time, win time. We gon' bring it home time. No regrets now. Let it all go.